Well, can I welcome you all to the Buddhist Society on this absolutely beautiful day. And today we have a very special guest at this public lecture. First of all, just want to say a word about the subject. Subject is Kamma, karma, action, and it's probably the central idea of Buddhism. People tend to think of Buddhism as all sorts of things, but unless you understand karma, you don't really understand Buddhism. It's actually central concept. And without a really good understanding of what it means, we don't understand anything about Buddhism. We can't really say we're even Buddhist. But today we have with us a monk from the Buddhapadipa Temple. And the Buddhapadipa Temple is our close neighbor. It's a wonderful temple. Those of you who haven't been there, please go there and go there as soon as we're out of lockdown. You can go anywhere, go to Buddhapadipa. It's an absolutely beautiful, lovely temple. It's near Wimbledon, near the games, and that's where one of the Wimbledon champions actually sits and meditates before he takes part in his in Djokovic, where he meditates prior to his taking part in the championships. And his meditations seem to have borne some very good results. So it's a good recommendation. Our speaker today, though, is Phramaha Bhatsakorn Piyobhaso. And he was born in Thailand in 1974, became a novice monk in 1988, and he was fully ordained in 1995. And he specialized in Pali and Abhidhamma studies. He is a general secretary of the Council of the Buddhist Monks in the UK, in Ireland, and the secretary of the Theravada Buddhist Sangha in the UK. And he resides at the Buddhapadipa Temple as a teacher in the Dharma and as a meditation master. So without taking up any more of our time, I'll hand over to our very distinguished guest, and who we're absolutely delighted that he's been able in this difficult time to come and do this electronically. And he's actually speaking directly from the temple in Buddhapadipa Temple. And so you'll see a little taste of it. So thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to your talk. By the way, during the talk, you'll see a dialogue box which will come up, and you can put questions in there. And at the end of it, I'll read the questions out. So at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little dialogue chat, it says, and you can write in there the questions. Thank you so much.
Namatu Ratanatayasa, may I pay my homage to the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. Very good evening to friends in the Dhamma. I'm very honored to be invited by the Buddhist Society to give a talk. Before I actually begin the talk, me and my colleague, we do a very brief chanting just to make the atmosphere peaceful. If you like, you may sit still with your eyes closed while we are performing the brief chanting. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Sawakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิชชาจารณะสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิทูอนุตตโรปุริสธรรมสารถิสัทธาเทวมนุสานังพุทโธภควาติสวากขาโตภควตาธัมโมสันทิฏฐิโกอากาลิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโอปนัยโกปัจจตังเวทิตาโพวิญโยหิติสุปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆโอจุปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆยายาปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆยาทิทังจัตตาริปุริสยุคานิอัตถปุริสบุคลาเอสาภควโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุนายโยปาหุนายโยทักขินายโยอัญชลิการณิโยอนุตตรังปุญญเขตังโลกัสสติ Right, so we have now done the brief chanting. I would like to say thank you to my colleague. His name is Phramaha, which simply means wisdom. So Panya means wisdom. So today, and we have Phramaha or Monk Panya to join me the brief chanting. Right, shall I begin now? Well, very good evening to everyone again. As I said earlier, that I'm very pleased and very honored to be invited by the Buddhist Society to give a talk, to share my experience, to share the teachings, and to give you a little bit background about myself. I'm from Thailand, but I have been living in the UK since 2006. And at the moment, and I'm residing at the Buddhapadipa Temple near Wimbledon. And the topic for today's talk is about Kamma. I think everyone is familiar with the word Kamma. I would like to share the screen so that everyone can see the slide. And at the end of my talk, any questions are welcome. Well, the topic for tonight is the concept of Kamma and modern challenges. I would like to begin my talk with a short video. I will tell you later why I show you this video. Well, the reason why I show you this video, because this is how Kamma is understood by the modern people. And we often hear the people saying, oh, that's because of your Kamma, so you deserve it. And here I just would like to give some background of my talk and why I choose to talk about this topic. Like I said earlier, some people today like to take Kamma to blame everything bad that happened to them. Kamma is misused to attack other people. When something bad, something miserable happens, oh, you deserve it. That's because of your Kamma. You deserve it. And then Kamma is also used to explain the bad consequence that happen to those close people in present lifetime. Yes, for example, if the father had done something bad and then it the Kamma affect his daughter or their relative. Well, there is nothing seriously wrong with this idea, but it seems the concept of Kamma is slightly misunderstood. So this is the background of my talk. And now let me begin with what the modern challenges are for the teaching of Kamma or the law of Kamma. For example, I often hear the questions, how you use the teaching of Kamma to explain to those who were born poor, handicapped, or deformed. How you use the teaching of Kamma to explain to the innocent people who were killed because of the war that never failed. How you explain by using the law of Kamma to the nice and sincere people that other people like to take advantage of them or even to shit on them. I think for many people, they may feel unfair. They work very hard. They devote their time, their energy for the company, but as a result, they never receive the promotion. They feel down. They feel sad. Although I try very, very hard, I'm trying to be the best person. I try to improve my work, my company, but look at the result I receive. So all of these are just the examples of modern challenges that we often hear from the people. But to begin with, I want to make it clear some kinds of belief that are contradictory to the law of Kamma. And there are at least 3 beliefs. Pupphegatawada, the belief that all happiness and suffering arise from previous Kamma. Isaratnim Manahetuvada, all happiness and suffering are caused by the creation of a supreme being. And last but not least, Ahetu Apajayawada, the belief that all happiness and suffering are random. So for those who take Kamma just only for the consequence of their bad deeds, it can fall into the first belief. Because happiness, unhappiness, suffering, and pain are not actually formed only previous Kamma, but there are other conditions, there are other factors as well. Now, let's see. I think everyone is familiar with the definition of Kamma, especially those who follow Theravada tradition. The definition of Kamma can be found in one sutta. But here, look at the word karma in Sanskrit, Kamma in Pali language. So both words mean action or doing. So whenever one does something or says something or even think about something, it is called Kamma or karma. The term Kamma or karma is used especially to define those actions which spring from intention in Pali language, cetana, of all beings, except those who attain arahantship. Well, the reason why that I include except those who attain arahantship, because whatever the arahants or the person who achieved the his sanctity does, speaks, or thinks, their actions are not regarded as Kamma. They are regarded as action, just action or kiriya in Pali language. So apart from the arahat, the actions performed physically, verbally, even mentally, all of that action with cetana, with intention, are called Kamma or karma. Here we can see the reference from Nibbedika Sutta, when the Buddha spoke about Kamma, how the Buddha defined Kamma. Cetanahang bhikkhave kammang vadami, which means intention, I tell you, is Kamma. Intending, one does Kamma by ways of body, speech, and intellect. So this is the definition given by the Buddha himself. And I think many are familiar with the word Kamma. But for those who follow other tradition, I'm not quite sure. But we need to distinguish between Kamma and Vipaka. I think the confusion occurs because people are confused between Kamma and Vipaka. They like to take Kamma for Vipaka. For example, when something bad happens, they say, oh, this is because of your Kamma. In fact, Kamma is simply intentional action or any action performed with intention. When we want to talk about the vipaka or the fruit or the result of Kamma, we call it in Pali language vipaka. Vipaka means the fruit. And there are at least 3 kinds of vipaka or fruits: wholesome action, kusala Kamma, that result in happiness. Then unwholesome action or akusala Kamma that result in unhappiness. And there is another kind of Kamma, neutral Kamma, apayagata Kamma, which means they are neither good nor bad. But both good and bad actions, wholesome, unwholesome, kusala, akusala Kamma, we bring about the fruition or the result of vipaka, either within this present lifetime or in the context of a future rebirth. Then how we define good and bad Kamma? Well, basically, good Kamma is determined by good intention. For example, if our action is driven by compassion, loving kindness, and wisdom, that action can be regarded as good Kamma. On the contrary, if our action is driven by 3 defilements like anger, like hatred, like desire, greed, delusion, then the Kamma or the action will be called akusala Kamma. And now let's see how Kamma works. This is one of the Buddha's saying, as the seed, sow the fruit. Who does good, receive good. Who does evil, receives evil. But many people may ask the question, from what we have seen today, although you're a good person, but nothing will guarantee that something good will happen to you. So this confuses many people because when they do something good, they expect to receive something good in return. Well, from the Theravada Buddhist point of view, the reason why Kamma, especially good Kamma, doesn't work the way we want, because of our action is related to other conditions or other factors. There are 4 pairs of factors which affect the fruition of our Kamma, our action. And the first one in Pali called Sampatti, or 4 advantages. The second 4 pairs, 4 disadvantages, or Vipatti. Now we will go to see into the detail of the first one, Sampatti, or 4 advantages. And what are the 4 advantages that affect the fruition of Kamma? And the first one, Kati Sampatti. Kati means the place. In this context, it refers to favorable birthplace, environment, circumstances, or career. And then Upati Sampatti, the asset, the suitability and support of the body. Kala Sampatti, Kala means time. Not only times, but also opportunity. The asset of opportunity or aptness of time, or the support of time. Payoka Sampatti, the attribute of action, aptness of action, or advantages of actions. Sometimes Kamma doesn't work the way we want, because we may lack one of these. I can give you the example. And if you do something good to the wrong person at the wrong place, it may bring the bad result. I have a monk friend who liked to teach people. And one day, he happened to see the group of young men drinking until they were drunk. Because of his kind heart, he wanted to help them. So he approached them and told them that drinking alcohol is not good. So this is the example of teaching at the wrong place to the wrong people. As a result, he was beaten. It's happened. Like Kamma, so in some cases, Kamma doesn't work because it may, maybe one of these advantages is missing. Like Upati Sampatti, suitability and support of the body. You would like to be a model, but your physical figure is not good enough. And then being a model is not good for you. So here's just the example. So now we're gonna go to see the other side of 4 disadvantages in Pali language, Vipatti. Again, Kati Vipatti, unfavorable birthplace, environment, circumstances, or career, like to be born into a sphere, locality, or country with is regressive and unsupportive. Upati Vipatti, weakness or defectiveness of body. I just give the example. And then Kala Vipatti, defectiveness of time. You do good thing at the wrong time, do good thing to the wrong people. Payoka Vipatti, weakness of action, which means you don't have enough effort. Or you just do it and then stop. Now, another issue, Kamma and rebirth. Well, Kamma and rebirth are related. For some people who don't believe in life after death, they may object. I don't believe in life after death. But to completely understand the teaching of Kamma, rebirth is related. But to define what rebirth actually is, it depends on the way you define. Well, some Buddhist scholars like to refine rebirth like to be born, even in this present lifetime. For example, whenever you are angry, you were born in hell. Whenever you are greedy, you were born as beta or hungry ghost. Or whenever your mind is diluted, you become animal. Now, let's say good karma leads to good existence, like to be born as a human being or to be born in the heaven like a deity or angel. Bad karma leads to woeful existence, like a hell, demon, to be born as a hungry ghost. I think we can use our common sense to judge what is good, what is bad. For something, when you do, and then you are unhappy, you feel regret, or it causes bad consequence, it causes pain and suffering to other people. We may call that action bad or akusala kamma. On the contrary, and if we do something by using our common sense, for example, to help other people, to look after people, to share our belonging, food with other people, after we do it, we feel happy, we feel relief. So that action can be regarded as good karma. From the Theravada Buddhist point of view, apart from good and bad karma, we also have another karma. So this kind of karma will lead to deathlessness or nibbana. If we do charity, for example, to offer food, to give food, to share, as a result, we may be born as a human being again, or we may be born in the heaven as an angel or deity. If we commit some bad deeds, like to kill, to steal, to cheat on your spouse or partner, to tell a lie, that kind of karma may lead to a woeful existence. Not only after this life, even in this present lifetime, you feel bad, you feel unhappy about your action. But by following, by applying the mid-eightfold part, that will lead us to deathlessness or nibbana, which is the ultimate goal of Buddhism. The mid-eightfold part consists of right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And all of these eightfold parts can be applied even in our daily life. So I would like to give the quote from His Holiness Dalai Lama. He said that countless rebirths lie ahead, both good and bad. The effect of karma or action are inevitable. As long as a person is a normal human being or normal being, as long as we still have greed, hatred, and delusion, it is inevitable not to be reborn. So for sure, after this lifetime, if you don't achieve the Arahantship yet, you will be reborn in the samsara. So my colleague just would like to leave because we have a long day today, and we start the morning chanting at 8, and then in the afternoon we have the candlelight procession, the long chanting, a talk. Right, okay, let's continue. Unfortunately, I could see some part. Oh, I think I know how to do it. I couldn't see some part on the right part. Well, now let's see Kamma with regard to the term of efficiency. In fact, there are 12 kinds, but I just want to talk about 8 kinds. Immediately effective Kamma, or in Pali language, Ditta Dhamma Vetaniya Kamma. So whatever we do, if it affect us immediately, even in this present lifetime. We call it Ditta Dhamma Vedaniya Kamma. And the second one subsequently affected Kamma, Upacha Vedaniya Kamma, the Kamma or the consequence of Kamma that will affect in the next life. Indefinitely affected Kamma, Aparapraya Vedaniya Kamma, which means after the second life. So Kamma will never expire. Whenever Kamma has a chance, it will get us, good or bad. Yeah, both good and bad. And last one, the fun or ineffective Kamma, or in Pali we call it Ahosi Kamma. So Ahosi Kamma means the kind of Kamma that doesn't have a chance to take the effect. Yes, for example, I'd like to give the example like the criminal who was shot dead by the police. Although he had killed many people in the past from what he had committed, he chose to be in the prison for a long, long time. But because he was shot dead by the police, so when he's dying, and then he doesn't need to go to the prison. However, he won't be able to escape from his Kamma, after this lifetime. And then Kamma with regards to potency. Karu Kamma or Vedic Kamma that this produces is result in this life or in the next life immediately. And there are both and good signs. For the bad sign, like Anantariya Kamma, the heinous crimes, matricide, patricide, killing arahat, or causing schism among the Sangha. What about good sign? For those who meditate, when you achieve absorption, if your absorption is still there, after that, you may be born in the Brahmaloka. This is from the belief of Theravada tradition. The second one, proximate Kamma, Asana Kamma. Yeah, Asana Kamma means the action or Kamma that occur just before a person is about to die. In Theravada Buddhism, we have one Pali saying, Chitte Sankilite Tukkati Kankha, which means before you die, and if your mind is impure, woeful existence is expected. On the contrary, Chitte Asankilite Sukkati Kankha, if your mind is if your mind is pure, if your mind is not diluted, then heavenly existence is expected. So, just before a person dies, there are at least three things happen. Kamma, Kamma Nimitta, and Kati Nimitta. Kamma means action, whatever we have done when we were still healthy and strong, it will appear like a film show. And then Kamma Nimitta, the side of our action, whatever we do, good or bad, it will appear like a film show. Then Kamma and Kati, Kati Nimitta, which means the side of your next life. After you die from this lifetime, the side of next life can appear like the wood, the forest, or the house, the palace, or even something nice. And if it appears in your mind like the house, there's a possibility that that person will be born as a human being again. Or if it appears like the forest or the fire, it is possible that that person may be reborn as an animal or even in hell. And then habitual Kamma, Ajinna Kamma. So this one refers to any kind of action that we habitually do in our daily life, although it's not very Vedic Kamma, but if we do it regularly, it will become our habit. When the first two doesn't When the first two do not take the effect, and then the habitual Kamma or Ajinna Kamma will take the effect. And now reserved Kamma, Tatta Kamma. This Kamma refers to all actions that are done once and soon forgotten, like what we normally do in daily activities. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it does not bring great demerit. Right. Now, another question. What can I do to remove my previous negative Kamma? So whatever we have done, we can't change it. Like we can't change what we have done yesterday. So when Kamma, be good or bad, has done, we can't change it. But in order to avoid having negative thought that leads to negative action in the future, we need to observe and control our own thought, behavior, and destroy our negative attitudes. So we usually begin with the way we think, the way we look at things. Meditation is one of the techniques. Similarly, we can observe, study, or meditate by observing our own mind. In this way, we can encourage positive thought that will lead to the positive action. Before we do something, there must be the thought arising in our mind. Then we can avoid negative karmic seed to ripen by purifying it using the 4 powers of purification. I will show you later. Although this does not eliminate the negative karmic action, but it can avoid the result to occur. And now what are the 4 powers of purification? We need to have a strong object. We call it the power of object, which means that, okay, when we decide to do something good, we need to have the goal of life. For those who are Buddhists or who follow Buddhist teaching, of course, you choose to take refuge in the Triple Gem Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. You choose practice compassion. You choose feel compassion towards all sentient beings. Then power of regret. It is normal for ordinary people to make a mistake. Even monks make a mistake. Even those who have been good for a long, long time, because of the temptation, because of some reason, they might make a mistake. Making a mistake is normal, but if we feel regret, and then we can say to ourselves, okay, I won't do it again, so that we won't produce any bad karma in the future. And then power of promise. As a logical consequence of the above, one chooses promise not to repeat this negative action, although we can't help but try to minimize, try to avoid. And before we do something bad, maybe we can think for a while. What will happen if I do this? So although no one knows, but you know by yourself. Power of practice. Basically, any positive action with a good motivation can be used as practice. Like now, you're listening to the talk. I think your mind is peaceful, your mind is clear. And when we practice meditation, you feel peacefulness. Now, next question. Can we escape from the consequence of our bad karma? I would like to give the quote from the Dhammapata. Not in the sky, nor in the middle of the ocean, nor in the cave of a mountain, is there a place where one may escape from the consequences of evil deeds. So this means that whatever karma we have committed, whatever good or bad deed we have done, we won't be able to escape from it unless that karma doesn't have a chance. And here I just would like to give the example, like the amount of salt in the glass of water and river. Well, remember that, and when we talk about karma, not all karma we get you, like the amount of salt in the glass. When we put the salt into the glass of water and then we drink that water, of course, that water will be very salty. And then when you throw this glass of water into the river, although the amount of salt is still actually the same, but because the amount of water is a lot, so we won't feel any salty taste. Another example, hunting dog and the running rabbit. And you can imagine, and this rabbit tried to run as fast as it could, and the hunting dog tried to chase after the rabbit, that poor rabbit. If the rabbit runs fast, it could be safe. On the contrary, if the rabbit slowed down until the hunting dog catch it. So this is how Kamma will get us. The more we do good deeds, the less chance bad Kamma will get us. So by doing more and more good deeds, we will delay the time. But whenever the bad Kamma has a chance, of course, we won't be able to run away from it. Now let's see the Kamma that ends Kamma. Here we have 4 kinds of Kamma. Black Kamma, like a bad deed, akusala Kamma, we produce black result. White Kamma, like a kusala Kamma, we produce white result. The Kamma, both black and white, we produce the result both black and white. And last one, Kamma neither black nor white, we produce the result neither black or white. This being the Kamma that ends Kamma. In order to end Kamma, number 4, Kamma neither black nor white, refer to the application of middle and fourth part. The black Kamma refer to akusala Kamma or unwholesome action. White Kamma, kusala Kamma, wholesome action, will produce the white result, like to be born in the samsara as a human being, as an angel, and Kamma both black and white. As a normal human being, we will do both good and we will do both black and white. Sometimes we do good, sometimes we do bad, which means that sometimes we have something nice, sometimes we have something bad. When we go outside, we can't expect to see something nice all the time. From the aspect of Abhidhamma, when we see something bad, that's what we call akusala vipaka. When we say something nice, that is what we call kusala vipaka. But we can choose. We can choose. Whenever we say something bad, we don't need to feel bad about it. We can change our mind to look at it. Right. I think I'm almost finished. Now, question for the future. So again, I would like to bring some quotation that the monks normally recite at their morning chanting or evening chanting. All beings are the owners of their Kamma, heirs of their Kamma, born of their Kamma, related to their Kamma, supported by their Kamma. Whatever action I shall do for good or for ill, of that I will be the heir. Peace and wisdom be with you. Thank you for your attention. Right now, I'm happy to take questions.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. Well, the first question, thank you very, very much. It was a very nice talk and gave us a lot to think about. It was very comprehensive. But the first question is from Kitty DaCosta, and she asks, in the videos, were all the examples of people acting without intention? At the video that you showed at the beginning of the talk, and therefore without intention, they're not actions that cause karma.
Well, the reason why I showed the video, and that's it, how the people understand Kamma today. And the video was titled as Instant Kamma. So without intention, the action is not called Kamma. Yeah, it's called action. Yes, for example, when we drive after the rain, then the insect may die on our window screen, but we don't have any intention to kill them. So they don't die because of our intention, but they die because of our action. Or if someone happened to run over the frog, you may feel bad about it, but you do not create bad karma because you don't have intention. That answer the question? Yeah. Well, the reason why I showed the video, I just would like to explain how people understand Kamma today. They tend to say, oh, this is because of your Kamma. Yeah. Well, in some cases, they don't have an intention. It just happened like an accident.
Yes, there was a, I remember after the tsunami, somebody came, some religious leader came and said, "Ah, yes, well, that's because of the bad karma of the people." And it caused a great deal of upset amongst very devout Buddhists. They got very upset and didn't think that was right.
We shouldn't blame Kamma alone. We shouldn't blame Kamma alone. As I said, because Kamma is one condition, is one factor. And there are all the conditions and all the factors that allow one event.
There's another question here which is interesting. Are there both intentional thoughts that create karma and unintentional thoughts that do not? That's from Wendy. And I you know, because you can have very negative, unintentional thoughts that come into your head.
Yeah.
They can be very, you know, you would imagine they could be, you know, quite seriously karma forming. And so that's the question really. And I think that's the question that probably occupies a lot of people's minds.
So we need to understand the word Cetana. Cetana or intention is one of a mental factor or Cetasika according to Abhidhamma. So whenever Cetana predominates or action, we call it intentional action. In many cases, for example, we dream. We don't have any intention to dream. Even in our dream, you may kill someone, or you may hit someone. But that kind of intention, that kind of action is not performed with intention. Well, to me, intentional thought produce Kamma. Unintentional thought, it just called action, but it does not produce Kamma.
Yes, thank you very much. There's another one here, and that's from David Gill. And he asked, could you please explain further the karma that ends karma?
Right. The Kamma that ends karma, and first I begin with black Kamma, and result black, white Kamma result white, both black and white result both black and white. But the Kamma that we end Kamma is what we call the middle eightfold path. In order to escape from Kamma, in order to escape from the cycle of samsara, we need to apply the middle eightfold path, right understanding, to develop the way we look at things in the right way. Right thought, to have the positive thought, right action, to perform action, knowledge action, but even, right action, samma kammanta, to do something right, to do something righteous. Samma vajama, right effort, to put the right effort. Samma vaja, to speak nicely, to speak the right thing. Samma sati, right mindfulness. And last one, samma samadhi, to have the right concentration. Whenever we apply this meditation path in our daily life, gradually we will be able to end our Kamma. So by changing our action, by changing our and the way we do things in our life, eventually we will be able to end Kamma, which means that and we escape from the cycle of birth and death. Whenever we achieve the Arhandaship, when we achieve an enlightenment, and then we won't come back to be born as a human being again. This is what I mean to the Kamma that end Kamma.
Yes, thank you. And there's another one here, which is sort of similar. Is there a form of balance whereby previous bad deeds can be balanced out or superseded by future good deeds? And that's from Molly Jackson.
Yeah, can you repeat the question again?
Is there a form of balance whereby previous bad deeds, negative things one has done, can be balanced out or superseded by future good deeds?
Well, we focus on the present lifetime. We never actually know what we have done in the past. We just guess. When something bad happened, people like to guess, oh, that's maybe the result of my bad Kamma in my previous lifetime. I think we choose focus on the present lifetime now in order to balance our Kamma. We can't change what we have done in the past, but we can change what we are going to do now in this present lifetime. It's quite hard to know if we have done something bad in the past because we don't have the power to remember what we have done in the past. Our memory is quite limited. For example, we can't remember everything that happened many years ago. So don't talk about in our previous life. Some people have a very good memory. So those who are able to remember their previous life, maybe because of their have special talent or special ability to remember their previous life. And from my understanding, just try to focus on the now. Start doing good from today. And then what we do good today, it will be our good Kamma in the future. Oh, sorry, it will be a good Kamma in the past.
Thank you. There's an interesting question here, and that's about people who are mentally disturbed. And the questioner would like to know, so if someone is mentally ill and can't help their behavior, will they suffer negative karma? And he says he's thinking about criminals who have urges to kill or harm others.
Well, those people already suffer. They suffer because of their own action. We shouldn't blame their Kamma in the previous life. We should feel more compassion towards these people instead of being upset or being angry with them. When we understand them, they behave like that because of their mental disorder. Instead, we just feel more compassion, and if we can help, we try to help. Because they can't help themselves. Well, to me, we shouldn't blame them for behaving like that, but we should try to understand them and try to help them in the way we can. But if we can't help them, what we can do, we need to accept and understand. Although we try to help, but nothing much we can do, then we need to apply upekkha or equanimity. And I have some experience with people with mental disorder. They came to the temple, and then they try to seek some advice from me, although I try to help them, but it doesn't seem to work for them because they repeat asking me the same question again and again. I said, well, I can suggest you to focus on the now, because when you focus on the now, you won't worry about the past, you won't think about the past, and you won't worry about the future. When you are at the now, then gradually you will be able to let go your pain. So I just suggest them to focus on the now.
Mm-hmm. And he goes on to say, how does karma affect those individuals with psychosis who do bad things? And you're getting, and I think this is also from Choi Kok, who asked the last question.
Yeah. Well, Kamma produce its result mentally and also physically. When we do something bad, we feel bad. This is how Kamma take an effect. Or when we do something good, we feel proud, we feel happy. So psychologically, if you do something, then you feel bad about it, that may be the bad Kamma. So we can try to change the way we do it. That answers your question? Because I'm not quite sure about the answer, so I try my best.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's another question, and maybe while these questions are being answered, it'll become apparent what the meaning is. This is from Mark de Berner. He asks, could one feel black and white karma from the actions of one's relatives, for example, from a great-grandparent, because we are genetically linked?
Well, many people like to explain to what happened to their family member, like this is kind of genetic Kamma. Well, they could be related, but not directly, and we may call it collective Kamma. And we were born as a family member, as a son, daughter, because we have related Kamma. And we receive the bad consequence of Kamma because we are related in that way. But we can change our destiny. Yeah, to me, I strongly believe that whatever we have done in the past, we can't change it, but we can change our destiny. And there was the story of the young novice monk who was supposed to die within 7 days. So his master told him to visit his family. On the way to his hometown, he happened to see a fish in the drying pond. With his great compassion, he took that fish and freed that fish into the river. Because of this compassion, because of this action, he didn't die within 7 days. So this means good Kamma can change the bad Kamma. Yeah, but we never know. Yeah, we never know. If we do good, something different may happen.
Yeah, this is from Michael Laycock, who there's a lot of questions about mental health here. From Michael Laycock, who asks, going back to the first slide, is present disability or mental health problems always a result of past karma?
Could you repeat the question again?
Is present disability or mental health problems always a result of past karma?
Well, I don't blame the Kamma alone. There are other factors that are related as well. It could be genetic, it could be the environment, it could be something else. So again, Kamma is just one condition, it's just one factor. We shouldn't blame Kamma alone.
Yes, there are a number of factors which are not considered to be, I mean, results, which are not considered to be part of karma.
Yeah.
Things like earthquakes or weather or things like that. And I suppose those are the things you were talking about at the beginning, about environment and beneficial conditions and places of birth and so on.
Yeah.
They're nothing to do with the moral consequences of one's previous actions. And some people tend to think of it as a universal law where everything is part of the karmic system. Now there's for another question. Are there any more questions from our audience? No, no more questions. Well, that was a very, very helpful talk. And I think it does clarify a lot of things. It's interesting how many of the talks are about mental health.
Yeah, maybe I will do more research on that. So to me, I don't like to blame Kamma alone for the mental health problem, because that would be a kind of abuse. To me, that would be a kind of abuse. Instead, we just feel more compassion towards them.
And it's often true, isn't it, that people who have had mental health problems and recover can sometimes benefit society a great deal, can contribute enormously. They may start off young with a lot of anxiety and depression and fear, and then they do some practice and they begin to understand themselves, and then they can help other people when they've overcome their own problems. They can be of huge benefit to others. So sometimes what appears to be a negative bad karma, actually the consequences of something which is very good and good for everyone. Well, I think that brings us to the end of a really wonderful evening. And I must say, are you in the vihara? Because what is behind you is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I've been looking at the walls and it's absolutely lovely. Well, can I thank you very much?
We're closed at the moment. So the temple is not open for the public, and we just follow the government guideline. We never know we will open the temple again, but we do allow some people to come and offer food, but no public entry. Yeah, just stay and wait until the lockdown is eased.
Yes. Well, can I once again thank you very much, Pentti, for a really lovely talk, and also for all our guests and everyone who came tonight. Perhaps it encourages one to take up some practice, and then we can improve our karma and have a much happier life. But it is absolutely essential to understanding this whole problem about happiness and unhappiness and the way to get out of all these difficulties that we have. Thank you so much, Pentti.
You're welcome.